Okay, good day everyone. This is Mapletree Pan Asia Commercial Trust first quarter FY 24-25 financial results dated 30th July 2024. Right, key highlights. Okay, DPU is down, it's not good, 2.09 Singapore cents. NAV is 1.76, flattish. Aggregate leverage is 40.5%. Right, if you want to look at with perpetual securities of this amount over here, alright, we can recalculate the gearing from 40.5% to 42%. Alright, not much to say about AUM. Occupancy is down to 94%, and it's actually slightly worse than this, as I will show you later. Right, you can see that last quarter it was higher at 96.1%. Alright, nothing much to say about will. Okay, generally the report more or less similar to last few quarters. Singapore is holding up the portfolio, right, and mostly their overseas contribution is dampened by stronger SGD against the Japanese yen, renminbi, and Korean won. Right, and DPU is affected by higher financial costs, but I'm not so sure that higher financial costs is just the main reason. Alright, as you will see later. Not much I want to say about this one. For VivoCity, tenant sales and shopper traffic have dropped. Alright, so this is not good. We'll see later. Right, and they claim it's due to increased outbound travel. Alright, although I'm not sure this is the case. It's hard to attribute to just because of this. Alright, could also be because Singaporeans are tightening their belts. Alright, there's some revitalization of the basement 2 underway. Okay, strong occupancy in Festival Walk, which is true. Okay, recovery path affected by currency driven outbound travel surge. Alright, so I think this means the Hong Kongers are going to Shenzhen for shopping, right, because the yen is weaker. Right, so they have completed the divestment of this property in Singapore. Right, there was a report the next day after this presentation was released to say that that is the case. Right, so Singapore remains pivotal to MPAC. Right, they want to keep it at more than 50% of their portfolio. Right, or at least at this point it's still more than 50% of the portfolio lah. And I think they will keep their core Singapore investments in general. Right, so anyway, revenue is down 0.2%. Right, due to strong contribution from Singapore and of course the forex problems that we've discussed earlier. Property expenses down 1.1%, which is good, right, except for the fact that they always say higher staff costs, right, so a little bit concerned there. You can see last quarter they said the same thing, right, higher staff costs, right, so I'm not sure when this higher staff cost problem will go away. Net property income is flat, financial costs up 9.8%, which is the main thing they blame for their DPU dropping, but this is hardly unexpected if you look at the last quarter. Last quarter is already up 10.8%, right, year on year, so it shouldn't be too surprised that this thing has jumped 9.8%. Right, I would think that more than this being the problem, the fact that gross revenue didn't go up is the main problem lah. If you look at last round, gross revenue actually went up, and that's why it carried the DPU more or less. Right, so this time DPU is down 4.1%. Right, clearly no one is happy with this lah. Okay, so I'm not going to say too much about this. I think we've more or less discussed it. Right, there are some headwinds in Japan and China properties lah. As you can see, the occupancy later is not so good. Right, we look at the income in terms of revenue and MPI. Right, Singapore is doing well. Right, so this is MBC. Right, this is VivoCity, and this is other Singapore properties. Right, everything is up. Right, even Festival is up. Okay, MPI as well, the trend is similar, right? So these 4 things are up and these 2 things are down. So the main worry right now is China and Japan properties, right? Because everything from revenue to MPI are down, right? Yeah, we can look at the old data from last quarter, alright? So Festival Walk revenue wise up is not too bad, right? Because this is last quarter, 50.7. Right, so this quarter is 51.3, alright, but MPI is actually, I think, down slightly. This is 38.5, this is the current quarter, and this was the last quarter, 38.6, alright, so a bit of a mixed bag, but at least overall, Hong Kong's revenue is going up, alright, so I think that's generally a good sign. Okay, so not going to talk too much about this. Yeah, the net asset value is more or less flattish, 1.76, last time is 1.75. Right, leverage ratio, we talked about this. We have to watch this because, yeah, I think this is the main worry right now lah. Okay, so from 1 year ago, 3.17, it has jumped to 3.54, right, quite a significant bump. But I think this one is probably peaking, right, primarily because number one, interest rates are more or less likely to drop in September from the US side, and I think most of their loans are in Hong Kong, right? Most of the loans in Hong Kong and Singapore, right? So these are the very correlated to US interest rates. When interest rates in US drop, these two interest rates should drop as well. So I'm not saying that this one will go down. I'm saying that the rate at which it's going up is probably limited because I don't think it will go above 4. Alright, even in the next financial year, but that's just a guess. Alright, I didn't do it off any calculation. Right, so I don't think it should go above 4 in the next year. Yeah, especially because as time progresses, the interest rate in these two main countries they have a lot of debt in is going to start dropping. Right, but it's dropping, but it's still higher than their old interest rate so they will still suffer from some increase in all-in cost of debt. Okay, but I don't think it will be too bad. Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Right, so yen, unfortunately, Japan's interest rate is going up, so this one there may be an issue, but I think it's still worth it to borrow more in Japanese yen because overall Japanese yen's interest rate is still far lower than Hong Kong or Singapore. Alright, yeah, so what I did here was I just want to see how badly the DPU is impacted. Let's say that even though interest rates in general are going down, they still need to refinance at the highest interest rates because their old interest rate was very low, right? Okay, so if there's a 50 basis point change in benchmark rates, alright, which I think is probably the worst case, alright, 50 basis points is 0.5%, right? So that's why I say that I think worst case is 4%, right? Because plus 50 basis points, this will be 4.04%. Okay, so anyway, yeah, if I take the worst case and I analyze this number 2.09, which is already the latest bad result, right? Then I minus off per quarter 0.04, so I left 2.05 cents per quarter, right? So annually it will be 8.2 cents, right? Based off today's price of $1.23, it should be 6.67%. If we keep this number, it's roughly 6.79%. So I think this is the rough range of the percentage of dividends moving forward. Right, so this is a rough estimate, alright. So don't take it too seriously, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so anyway, yeah, you can see that both Festival Walk and VivoCity not doing so well. Okay, 3.9% drop in sales. Okay, 4.3% drop in traffic. Right, and you can see Festival Walk quite bad, 14.0% drop in sales and 2.7% drop in traffic. Right, so you can see sales is a big issue, right? And actually this is the more important number. Right, in terms of occupancy, generally okay, except a little bit worried that MBC has dropped to 92.8%. Alright, and yeah, the Japan they report is 94.2%. However, the reality is that they reported at 30th June where they still had this tenant, right? But yeah, but after 30th June, which means that the 1st of July, this tenant is gone. So the real occupancy in this building is 26.5%, and the Japanese portfolio is actually 82.3%. Alright, so this 94.2 is not very accurate. It should be 82.3%. Yeah, so Festival Walk, generally this is expected as well. The rental revision is starting to taper to zero, right? Because we realized quite bad initially at minus 20% a couple of years ago, then minus 12%, minus 8.7% quite recently, then now it's minus 5%, right? Hopefully this can turn zero at least and even positive in the near future. Alright, that's a hope. Okay, but not sure if given the current report, it may be so in the near future It might not be it might take some time. Right, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, China is slightly better, right, from minus 2.7% to minus 1.3%, but Japan is not so good. Right, so Japan is the next worry that we have to be concerned about. Okay, yeah, so with that, I don't think I'll talk about the rest. Yeah, I don't think I have too much more to say. I would say that at this price of $1.23, I'm still quite attracted to the price. Okay, again, this is not financial advice. If you want to know why I think $1.23 or $1.22 is a decent price, you can watch my last video on this MPAC. Alright, so with that, thank you for listening, and do remember there is no financial advice given in this video.